Welcome to a special edition of Cohasset Common. I'm Town Manager Chris Sr., and we're here today to talk about annual town meeting, which is coming up on May 12th. That's Monday, 7 p.m. at the Cohasset High School Gym. With me today are the Chair of the Select Board, Ellen Maher. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
And Jeanne Astino, the Chair of the Advisory Committee. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So we're going to walk through the 18-article warrant, which is not as, which is very important, but it's not going to be as intense as it sounds because a lot of these articles are really quick. So I'll start off. So Article 1 is the annual recognition of citizens employees who've had particular service, people who may have retired, town volunteers who've served on committees. So that'll be all done at town meeting, and we'll remember those who've passed away in the last year. So that's something we do every year as we open the meeting. The annual town report, that's actually available on the town's website, so people can look at it if they like. If you want a hard copy, you can come to the town manager's office, or you can go to the library and see a hard copy, but it's available online, and that's available for review. That's all of the materials that took place in 2024. Reports of committees is Article 3, and again, there's usually I'm almost certain that Tim Davis will give an update to all of us on the PED committee, but usually the committee reports are in the town report, which is available for review. So Article 4 will be where the fun begins. So that'll be the first real article. It's the creation of an enterprise fund for the recycling transfer facility. And so everybody understands the sewer and water departments are enterprise funds. Basically, what an enterprise fund is the revenue from the service pays for the service. It's not tax dollars. It's actually revenue from water and sewer. It's the fees you pay. And for the RTF, it'll be the fees you pay for bags and a sticker and all. So very important article. And Ellen, what did the Select Board have to say about this one?
Select Board was really in favor of creating this enterprise fund to support the RTF. We see that it costs a lot of money to run it, and it's a service that not everybody in town uses. So if you don't use the service, you don't have to purchase a sticker, and you don't get taxed on it. So it's much like water and sewer. If you don't have sewer hookup, you don't have to pay for sewer charges. So the Select Board was in favor of this.
And again, it's one of those things that I think will hopefully pay for itself over time, and will actually hopefully be able to have some other residents come in from other communities who help subsidize the cost. So it's something that the unfortunate fire we had in the fall took place. It really gave us a chance to rethink this, and it's going to make better economic sense. And Jeanne, the Advisory Committee voted unanimously for it.
We did. We voted 7-0 to support this, and we believe, as the watchers of the money, without a better explanation, we think that it's a great thing if we can take something off of the tax rolls, because, as everybody knows, we only have taxes based on real estate and autos. So it's tough to balance the budget here. And it would be a great thing if we could take this one expensive item off of the operating budget and have them cover their costs themselves.
So for more information on this article, please visit the town's website. There's a page just on town meeting, and there's some materials up there to look at. And again, both the Select Board and Advisory Committee recommend these unanimously to town meeting.
I'd just like to add, Chris, that the Select Board has yet to vote on fees and operational issues. This article is solely for the creation of the enterprise fund, and after town meeting, we will be tackling the fee structure, what we do for seniors, what we do for second stickers in households, and things like that. So I don't want anyone to think that it's already been decided. We haven't voted on anything yet.
I thank you for that point, Ellen. And also just to remind everybody, so the permits that have been sold will still be good for the next year. So anyone who has an all-facility sticker can still use the RTF even after the creation of this. So there'll be no fee changes at all as of July 1. So thank you for pointing that out.
Sure.
So if everybody has any questions, no fee increases for the permits for July 1. Article 5 obviously is the big article every year. That's the operating budget. It's in the warrant. There's a lot of more materials online, and so the Select Board did have a long discussion about it and voted in favor.
Yes, we did. We voted in favor, and part of the operating budget is the school budget, and we were quite pleased with Superintendent Shannon and the school committee who came in on budget. It was a process. She's brand new to the district, and she did a yeoman's getting the budget done, as did Mr. Senior and his staff, balancing our budget, maintaining our services, maintaining our staff. We didn't have any layoffs, and we're not looking for an override like many of our neighboring communities are.
And the whole budget, if people want to look, in the warrant is on Appendix A. When you add it all up, the general fund, which includes schools, is about almost $56 million. The sewer fund's about $2.5 million. Water is about 5.6. And the new enterprise fund for recycling, the recycle transfer facilities, a little bit under $800,000. And Jeanne, the advisory committee, took a long look at this all too.
We did. We voted in two parts on this. We voted first on the town side budget and waited until we had more information on what the schools would present. And then we supported that also.
Again, lots of conversations. So if you want to learn more about the budget process, you can watch any select board meeting or advisory committee meeting for the last several months. They're all available on the town's YouTube page. And again, there's more summary materials on the town's website. So
Great.
Thank you both. And again, that's Article 5. Article 6, unpaid bills from prior years. This is always on the warrant. There are no unpaid bills for prior years this year, so we're going to be able to just indefinitely postpone that and move right on to Article 7. And Article 7 is supplemental appropriations for FY25. That's the year we're in right now. And there's two. One is the annual transfer or a biannual transfer we make of money that comes in from cable fees, and that goes right to 143 TV, where you're watching this now. And it'll be at least $70,000. If more money comes in before town meeting, that number will change. But at the moment, it's a $70,000 transfer. And then we have a $650,000 slug of money that's to help the schools for this fiscal year. The hope is they won't need all of that, but that's the number that we're using right now just to make sure there's plenty of funds to cover any of the deficits that they've had for FY25. They've been working very hard to plug that gap. So I think that's pretty much
that is
pretty
it.
much it, yeah.
It does sum it up.
So again, more information is available on the town's website. You can watch some of the school committee meetings. Article 8 is our annual contributions to the stabilization funds. This year there's two. The OPEB trust fund, that's money that's being put away for future health care benefits. The town has a very strong policy, and we're meeting all of our targets. This is $148,500 that go into that. There'll be more in the fall, as there always is. And then the bigger number is the transfer to capital stabilization. That's $2.1, almost $5 million, which represents a 2.5% increase, something that the Select Board and Advisory and Capital have all said we need to do, and we've been making that commitment. So it's a larger number because things cost more, and there's important things to invest in.
Right, and it also marries up nicely with our goals that we set last year for this fiscal year to support capital stabilization with increases. The number had been flat for many years without any growth, and as Mr. Senior just commented, things get more expensive. So the more expensive things get, like electronics or leases or equipment or cost of labor and construction, the fewer projects that we can support and fund. And we felt it was very important to make our commitment to the town and the infrastructure in the town by increasing the amount to capital stabilization.
Advisory supports this also, and I couldn't say it any better than Mrs. Maher did.
So that's Article 8. That's contributions to the stabilization funds, which are actually all part of the town's financial policies, too, keeping money set aside both for rainy days and for important investments. And actual Article 9 is where the money starts to get spent on capital budget, and you'll find in there are 27 funded projects, 2 in the enterprise funds, 1 for water, 1 for sewer, and the others are all for schools and public works and facilities. These went through an extensive vetting project that went on for many months. Again, you can watch the Capital Budget Committee if anyone's excited to see that. All of these were vetted. The tires have been kicked, literally and figuratively. And what you have here is a very well vetted package of important items that some are equipment, some are services for schools, some are, as Mrs. Maher just said, the leases and things for school buses. So again, the Select Board voted for this unanimously.
We voted for all of the projects unanimously. I'd like to thank Capital Budget for going through the tireless efforts that they went through to get all 27 projects vetted and approved. They had countless meetings. They redid their process a little bit and had liaison meetings from Capital to various town departments and committees to get a lot of the legwork done early so that they could get through the process in a more timely manner. With your indulgence, I'd like to call out project number 26, which is a facilities project for Town Hall. Now, the number looks quite large, and you might be saying, well, if you're only appropriating $2.196 million, how can you appropriate $3.968 million for Town Hall? Well, through Mr. Senior's work and his department's work, we've seen that our debt roll-off will be ending in FY27. And so this will be bonded money that will replace that debt roll-off. So it's no increase to the taxpayers whatsoever. And this is a repair plan for Town Hall. As we all know, it's been in a state of disrepair for quite some time, because for the last 15 years, there's always been a new project coming, a new study coming, a new design coming. Well, those new projects and new designs are not coming, and it's time to repair the building to create a safe, efficient workplace for our staff.
So advisory also supported recommending this to town meeting. I would like to point out that when you get your warrant, you will note that some of the advisory votes had one abstention. It looks like it's a no vote, but it's not. It's because somebody on our committee felt that they had some kind of a conflict. They're either on another committee or participate in a group. And this is one of those that we did have one abstention. But everything was voted unanimously for all intents and purposes.
And again, just to follow up on the conversation about Town Hall, this is about a conversation that's been going on the entire time. I've been here many years before that. So, and there's an accompanying slot of money in the community preservation article, which we'll get to in a minute. Those combined will make a very significant difference in making the building, as you said, just safer, better, cleaner, and extend its life for many, many years. There's already been one positive step in that already. The Town Hall roof was replaced. That came in on time and under budget, which was very exciting. And now this will continue the work internally with things like fire prevention, which is critical, improving the HVAC systems, which is critical, and doing other accessibility and safety issues, and just quality issues. There's lots of things that are worn that are end of life, from the paint to doors, windows, exactly. So the building will look great, and it'll function for many years to come. So again, more information on that project and all of these projects are available on the town's website. Article 10 is an annual article, and every year it's a little different. And these are items that are one-time costs, which means we're spending them once. And I'll walk through them quickly. There's funding for cemetery maintenance. We do that coming out of the Sale of Graves Fund, and that maintains primarily the main cemetery. But the town has 3 that we maintain and operate. There's a little money in here for a teacher retirement incentive, which is going to save the schools a nice chunk of money for next year. That's really important. The schools are also working on a new way to lower costs for special education. I think kind of a bridge year. So this will help them cover that for this next year, where they work with a neighboring district on figuring out a new way to save some money for everybody and provide the services that some kids
really need. Right.
There's also money in here. We're in the middle of contract negotiations for all of our unions. There's a slug of money in here to help pay any settlements that are above and beyond what we budgeted, because we couldn't put all of that into the budget. There's anyone seen the hydration stations that have gone up in various places, particularly in the middle high school. These are 3 new ones that will be installed, one at the library, one at Beechwood, and one at Alumni Field. This will allow people to just fill water bottles with clean filtered Cohasset water. So we can't have individual single-use bottles sold now, plastic bottles. So this is another way to make sure that water is available for kids and adults when you're out there playing. So the last one is for RTF equipment. This is actually, following up on some of the work that needs to get done to make the RTF just a nicer, better facility for everybody as we move into the next chapter. So both the Select Board Advisory Committee voted unanimously for all of these.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Okay. More information, again, on the town's website. The next article is an annual one. It's part of the Municipal Modernization Act from some years ago. This just allows spending. It sets spending limits for the various little revolving funds we have. And this, I'm not going to read them all. You can see them in the warrant. From library patch and printing, that's the money that people pay to make copies, all the way to rental inspections and other programs, which is just starting this year. That's a safety program through the Board of Public Health. So you can see that's all in there, and those are just annual spending limits for those individual funds. So again, more information on the town's website. Article 12 is another annual article. This just is required anytime we do any work on the water in what's called the Chapter 91 area, which is area between low and high tide lines set many years ago. So it's very complicated. If you want to read more, Google it. You can find out more. But we need to adopt this every year for any grant money that we might receive. For example, the work we did at Parker Avenue. So, and we're constantly trying to do upgrades of the seawalls and things of that sort. So we need to do this every year to allow us to continue to do work on the waterfront. Article 13 is also an annual article. This just renews a variety of real estate exemptions for veterans, for the elderly, for low-income folks. And there's not a lot of people who take part in it, but those who do, it's really critical. It's important to help them stay in the community. And so, again, both boards have recommended unanimously that we continue these exemptions. Now, the next one is Article 14. That's a Community Preservation Committee. This is funded by a special tax that residents approved. And the money can be spent on recreation projects, on affordable housing, and on historic preservation. And there are a number of very important projects in here. You've heard one, the Town Hall project. There's a chunk of money in there for that. There's $1 million to help preserve forever the Holly Hill Farm. This would get a conservation easement on a couple of acres up there, as the Friends of Holly Hill are working to buy that entire property and preserve it forever as a working farm and an education center for this community and for the whole region. There's a little bit of money in there for the library, do some ongoing historical preservation work for their collection. I believe it's sleeves that'll help protect items from any kind of damage. There's money for improvements to the roof replacements over at the Housing Authority, which is critically important affordable housing in town. And there's a little bit of money in here as well for the Sandy Beach Association. It's storm fencing. If anyone's seen that, it's these lines of wooden fencing that helps keep the sand preserved, right?
Right.
That way it doesn't blow across the street at the Little Harbor.
Right.
A lot of work was done some years ago to rebuild Sandy Beach, and we want to keep the sand there as much as possible. So any more that you want to comment on?
So I'll just comment again on the town hall renovation, the $1.5 million. We're allowed to use CPC money for this because we're going to renovate and repair. Not renovate. We're going to repair the historic portion. So the shared mechanical services like the fire suppression system and the HVAC system and the windows can all be repaired, that portion, using CPC money. And again, it's not a tax levy, an additional tax levy on the residents, but it's part of our community preservation funds.
So that's, again, some very big projects, really important. And this is money that exists. It's already paid. So it's a Cohasset money going to use in Cohasset. So for more information, again, you can take a look at the CPC, their website, and also on the town's website, and some of their committee meetings. They had some really good conversations over the winter. So Article 15, the removal of Cohasset Fire Department from civil service, is going to be indefinitely postponed. We're in the middle of really good negotiations with the fire department, but we're not there. So no agreement's been reached. That said, this will hopefully appear in a future warrant, but on this one, we're not ready to act. So we don't have an agreement yet. So this will be indefinitely postponed at this session.
Right. So, Chris, if we were to adopt this, if we weren't, if negotiations were completed, how would this benefit the fire department and the town?
So the reason we've been talking about it is we've done this with the police department, and I'll use them as an example. Yeah. So when we withdrew after negotiations, the police union agreed, and we came out of civil service. What it did is allowed us to hire in a much more modern way. And an example of this is the 3 new officers that we've hired. It took less time to find them, to interview them, and to get them to the police academy that would have to just get scores on a civil service test. Wow. So the efficiency was tremendous. Plus, the town was able to recruit far beyond people who just took the test. And as a result, we have a veteran, we have a female officer who's actually the daughter of a late police officer who used to work for the town. And it's really been a great tool. So I know Chief Quigley's ecstatic. The union's been ecstatic because we were able to hire high-quality people. And the goal is that would be the same for the same. I think we'd have that same level of flexibility to allow us to reach beyond. In this day and age, people think civil service, right? Who's taking a civil service test? Right. It doesn't work that way anymore. And people have lots of options. So we really want to get out there and recruit and build. We've had 3 or 4 openings on the fire department for years. Wow. We've been budgeted for 24 officers, line officers for 5 years now, and we haven't been able to get there. Wow. So again, at the same time, we're not there yet. We do not have an agreement. The union is not supporting this at this point because we haven't reached a deal. Hopefully we will, but Article 15 will be postponed as of town meeting, and we'll continue our negotiations with the Cohasset Fire Union. So Article 16 is a lease of the portion of Town Hall. And Ellen, I'll turn to you because this is kind of a follow-up to the conversation we're having about the renovation of Town Hall. Right.
So some months ago, a working group got together to talk about Town Hall and what we were going to do with it. And part of the working group is a newly formed nonprofit that came to the table and said, hey, we'd like to be able to utilize the historic portion of Town Hall, the auditorium, the stage, and we're willing to pay for the renovations if you give us a ready building in terms of, the systems and the roof and the structure. And so this article allows the select board to enter into a lease. It doesn't define the terms of the lease, but allows the select board to enter into a lease with that nonprofit group. And it's very exciting. I hope that they'll be having a presentation at town meeting to kind of share some of their vision of what they see that space becoming. But I see the dramatic club coming back. We see, prom coming back, pre-prom coming back. We see a lot of different uses for that building to revitalize the historic portion of 41 Highland Avenue. So we're very excited about this and grateful to the Cohasset Cultural Center for their vision for what they're calling the Hall on Highland.
I can't say any more than Ellen did.
Sorry, I'm talking.
No.
Oh, that's great.
This is the way it's supposed to be.
That's great. That's great. Advisory Committee did recommend this unanimously. We're very excited about the possibility that we could actually have a building that will be usable and accessible to the whole community and even people outside.
Great.
And again, I think to underscore what Ellen and Jeanne have both been saying is that this is an opportunity for the community really to come back into the auditorium. Right. The auditorium was created for the community many years ago, and it's fallen into disrepair. And it was really primarily used for elections and then for the prom, and a few things, but it's become less and less, and it really needs some work. That's at the same time, it's a beautiful space. There's nothing like it in town, and for to be able to partner with a not-for-profit group to bring it back and really to make it a tool for the community or a jewel,
right?
Is because I've heard so many stories about things that used to take place there. And even in my time, those fifth grade dances still.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
I took dancing lessons there when I was in the sixth grade, sixth grade. So,
so maybe again. So again, this authorizes the select board, empowers them to enter into an agreement. It doesn't define it, and it doesn't. So, but it would have to fit with all the law. So maximum 30 years and all of that. So,
right.
So that is Article 16. More information on the town website. So after a long run of zoning articles in the last couple of meetings, there's one last one here. This is just some technical amendments. Last fall, the town did adopt an update to the floodplain and water protection district. This is Article 17. The state came back after we adopted and said, sorry, you missed a couple of things that they didn't tell us about. And that's all this is. So you'll see it's a very short list, it's really just technical citations. It doesn't change any of the substance, but it's important. We have to do it to come into compliance. Again, everyone, including the planning board and zoning board, are recommending approval of this unanimously. And this, I think, puts the final check mark on all of the zoning updates. So
I think this also simplifies this particular amendment and makes it a lot easier for people to understand.
Right. As you can see, if you look at the warrant, it's only one page. It's not 17 pages of language. There's just some, we have to update and match the current map citations. That's really what this is all about. So that's Article 17. And then Article 18 is a citizen's petition to expand the sewer district. There's more information in the warrant, and you can find more information about it because of the sewer commission's vote. The sewer commission voted not to recommend this article. It'll require a 2/3 vote on town meeting floor, and the proponent will present at town meeting, and we'll be presenting to the select board and the advisory committee in the next couple of weeks. So you can watch that in advance of town meeting if you like. So that's the last article on the warrant. So
zip right through this.
Zip right through it. So that is the warrant. So everyone should be getting this in their homes. This is the warrant. It'll come at home. So when you see it, please take it and hold on to it because you need to bring this with you to town meeting. And again, it's Monday, May 12th, 7 p.m. at the Sullivan Gym. That's in the back of the Cohasset High School. There will be childcare available. You'll see a little flyer in the back. So if you want to bring your kids and have them entertained, the rec department's doing a great program that starts at 6:45. And then there's a little bit more information. There's the budget's in here. There's some information about how town meeting runs in here. And if anyone has any questions, again, they can go to the town's website. Exciting. It's really local democracy in action. That's what town meeting is. So, thank you, Jeanne, very much for your time today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
And thank you, Ellen, for your time today.
Sure.
Any final words?
I would just like to encourage everybody to come to town meeting and get there early so we can get a quorum established and start relatively on time. And although there's nothing overtly controversial or, you know, something that might cause some consternation for people, we really encourage all citizens to come if they can to town meeting and participate. And it's the way you stay informed and you can feel part of making the decision making that goes on in town.
Town meeting is very important because it's how our town is run. So if you're looking for a way to get more involved, this is a good way to do it. Because there are only 18 articles, it should be relatively quick. So it would be a good one to attend, particularly if you've never come to one of the longer ones because you thought it was going to be too late at night.
Right.
This is literally local democracy in action. There's no other place in the country where voters can literally come, discuss and debate things like the budget and laws. The town meeting members, which are the citizens, the registered voters, are the legislators. So look forward to seeing everybody there. Again, Monday, May 12th, 7 p.m., the Sullivan Gymnasium. Thanks again to our guests, Ellen Maher from the Select Board Chair, Jeanne Astino, the Chair of the Advisory Committee, and to everyone in Cohasset. See you at town meeting. I'm Town Manager Chris Sr. Thanks for watching this special edition of Cohasset Common.